Yeti. Okay. Can you hear me now? Yeah. Okay. Alright. I think audio is up. Chan the Magic Man, thank you so much for the resub for 29 months. You can definitely hear me talking because I was listening to myself, just checking the audio. So, thank you so much for the resub. How are you doing, Chan? How's it going? I'm hungry, and I was like, let's cook something. And I'm like, should I stream this? Okay, let's stream. But guys, you're not following our friend and mod, Chan the Magic Man. Please give Chan the Magic Man a follow. Please make sure that... Okay, awesome. Great. Okay, I'm gonna make sure that this table isn't wobbly. Okay, and let me also hop over to here. Alright, so first things first, I was thinking... So my wife asked me to get a ton of cheese, and we got the pre-shredded cheese, even though I don't normally get the pre-shredded cheese, but I was like, now we have a bunch of this pre-shredded cheese that I need to use. So I'm going to be making mac and cheese, but we're going to make fancy mac and cheese, because we're going to be using gemelli, or gemelli, I don't know how to pronounce it. So we're actually going to be making the pasta in this, because it will make it al dente. I could leave it basically hands off, and I can also do something else in the meantime while this is going. So, all right. Maybe the best. You know what? You guys want to see the very satisfactory. I'm gonna dump this in here, right? So the question is, do I make all of it? Just half a box. Or do I make all of it? You know what? Let's go all the way. We're going to make all of it. Alright. So the thing about pressure cookers is that they say that you should cook it for about half of the prescribed cook time, as the box says, like in the pressure cooker. So this one says 12 to 13 minutes al dente. I don't quite want it to be al dente, so I want it to be a little bit softer, because these are bigger and they're like bulkier. So I have to just, let me see here. I want to cover the pasta, but maybe have a little bit left over. So I'm going to fill it up to about, this much. Random Man 29, welcome in. How's it going, Random Man? Good to see you. Chan and Random Man, how are you guys doing today? So I'm hungry. We're gonna make food. I have a bunch of food to use, so. Okay, I think this might be a little bit too much, but it's okay. I'd rather have too much water than too little water. Okay, so we'll go with this. So I'll round it up to 14 minutes cook time, but then for the pressure cooker, we'll do half, so that's 7 minutes. But it won't actually take 7 minutes. It'll take like 20 minutes, because it's got to get up to pressure, it's got to cook it, and then we're going to do soft release, because, so maybe it might take longer than that. Just in for a bit during break. All right, awesome, Random Man. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Hopefully you have a good break. I don't know if you're having lunch or anything, but hopefully you ate, or you're eating something, or you have eaten something delicious. So, all right. So I'm going to be setting this to pressure cook, and we're going to make this pressure cook for 7 minutes, and then I will start. Okay. So this is the thing I wanted to get started first. This will take a little bit. I do want to move this so that it's kind of out of the way a little bit. Over, I'll put it over here. You can see the microphone is here. I moved the cameras again because I don't know how I want them, but hopefully that works out. And then next we're going to move this over. me give this a slight wipe down. Okay, so this will take a little bit. I do have some time to try and cook something else before I have to start making the roux for the mac and cheese, but let me prep getting some of the stuff out. We'll need some flour, we'll need some butter. I'll leave the milk in the fridge. But we're definitely going to take the butter out so it can sit in the room temp for a little bit. And then, let me see here. I'll need a big pan. Oh no, I want a big pot. I'm kind of debating if I need the pot or if I could just make the mac and cheese in this. I might actually be able to make the mac and cheese in this. So I guess in the interim, let's make some other food. So I was thinking maybe I wanted to do a slight experiment today. I did purchase some stuff in preparation for this, but you guys remember how I did the burger experiment with several different burgers? Well, I have a few different sausages. So I've got two fake sausages and one real sausage. And we can pull that out now. So here we have real pork sausage. We have Impossible sausage patties. And then here we actually have something interesting. These are sausage patties made out of jackfruit. And so, yeah, this looks like something I am interested in trying right now. So the important question is, can I cook these from frozen, or do I need to, like, preheat them? Let's see, stovetop, most delicious. Cook to an internal temperature. Flip halfway through cooking. Alright, so that one looks like probably cooking from frozen is fine. I think for these, it's also fine to cook from frozen. So let's go ahead and get a few dishes. And Sharpie. Okay, so one is Impossible. One is jackfruit. And this one will be real pork sausage. All right. So here we are. We've got these things. Let me just see if I can move the wire so that this isn't in the way. I can rotate this, that's fine, right? Okay. So here we go. Are those all on camera? There we go. Okay, now those are all on camera. Okay, so let's crack open a Jack and Annie's. See what that looks like. So I have had these before, but usually I don't have them at the same time with other sausage things, and sometimes I have them with other things like eggs and toast. So this will just be a, I'm going to cook all of them, I'm going to taste all of them individually, and we'll let you know what I think by comparison. So here's the Jack and Annie's jackfruit. This is the Impossible sausage. Oh, there is a perforation for me to rip here. That is the Impossible. I'm just going to start, I mean, it's not that important to preheat this because it heats up pretty quick, but I'm just going to make it 200 just so it gets up there. And then, by comparison, technically these pork sausages look pretty small, so I'm probably going to put 2 of them over here. What am I going to need? Spatula? I mean, that's kind of comparable. So, let's put 2. I mean, I'm actually going to end up cooking all of the real pork ones anyway. Everything else is frozen. This has never been frozen, and I don't want these to sit too long uncooked, so. Alright, so frozen. Okay, alright. I'm having coffee. It's early enough. So, since, let me see here. Hopefully that the fan is not too loud on the microphone, but I won't be able to help it too much anyway. Okay, so this one looks to be the thickest and the frozen, so I think this one should go on first. And also I probably want to do the meat, the actual meat one last, because they are not frozen, but also I don't want the fat in these to really mess with the taste of these. Normally I would use bacon fat. I don't want that to affect the test, so we're just going to use some neutral olive oil just to coat the bottom of the pan here. I'm just going to make sure that the oil coats so we don't get too much sticking, if any. Okay, we'll put this up to 240, and then we can start with let's start with impossible. Alright, put this side down first. I'll just cover it for a little bit just so the steam, the heat builds up in there, helps cook it a little bit. That's the idea. So even though that the Instant Pot has been on for a while, it hasn't actually started the 7-minute timer for cooking the pasta, so and we're just gonna have to play it by ear as far as how long to cook these, because I've even found sometimes like the directions sometimes aren't always the best. So, and I'm also cooking this probably on a lower medium heat instead of a higher medium heat, so. But yeah, that steam is building up in there. You can kind of see that already. Let's see. One thing I can kind of do while we're waiting, I can empty my dishwasher. But anyway, if anybody wants to chat about anything, now's a good time. Oh, I can totally see that the the fan is acting up on the microphone. Let me see if I can. That barely helps. All right. Such is life. Kind of have this set up already, and I'm like, I don't think I want to invest in a mic that I wear. It's like, what are they called? A lapel mic, or is that what it's called? So anyway. Of course I could do dishes. This is kind of like my usual process. If I wasn't streaming, I'd basically be doing this minus the streaming. Let's give this a flip, because I think at least we're trying to at least thaw it out. Oh. Okay. Yeah. So right now we're not cooking. We're just thawing because it's frozen. It was frozen. Okay, I think we're starting to smell this one a little bit. Might be getting soft enough. I'm also going to throw in the jackfruit one. So they look different. The impossible one is thicker and slightly smaller in radius. The jackfruit one is thinner and a little bit wider. So We'll toss that in just so that it can also start to thaw as well. Again, for anybody who cooks meat and you're not comfortable with cooking meat, you can always use a thermometer to check the internal temperature. Internal temperature of safety, I think, is like 165 degrees Fahrenheit for most things. So they say internal mostly because they just want the entire thing to make sure, like, if there's temperature pockets inside that were underneath that were cooler, things could survive there. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can just flip over the jackfruit one, because the jackfruit one didn't look like it was that frozen. And then I'm gonna do some dishes, and we'll come back to this in a second. Once again, this is still not going quite yet. Pressure is building though, I can kind of see. So there's a hole that's on top of the Instant Pot where I can see stuff splattering out, so it's building its pressure. Then we make sure that it's closed. Okay, good. But once again, if anyone wants to chat about anything, now's a good time. Okay, looks like these are probably thawed enough. I'm going to start cooking them. I'll increase the heat a little bit, and we can just, let's flip them over. So, these are cooking now. Okay, it also looks like that the Instant Pot just reached heat and pressure. It started the 7-minute timer for actually cooking the pasta. And then after the 7 minutes is up, we will be waiting probably about 10 to 15 minutes for the pressure to depressurize naturally. Because if we let the pressure in while it's trying to depressurize, it's going to make the pasta really, like, chewy. and I want it to be like soft and supple. Okay, how are these guys doing here? Welcome in, Bert. Thanks for the lurk. How's it going? We are doing a bunch of different things. Making sausage, making pasta, mac and cheese is going to be happening over there. Alright, yeah, these are cooking now. This one's starting to look pretty good. That one's also looking pretty good. Strangely enough, the jackfruit one looks like it has like more juice to it, which is interesting. Let me see if these have, if these are stuck or if I can pop them off. Okay. Well, it's going to be a little bit, but that's okay. Oh, wow. The jackfruit one didn't stick at all, really. That was kind of amazing. There's actually a chance that I might have to take out the jackfruit one pretty soon because I feel like that will reach temperature super fast because it's super thin. The impossible one might be close to done, but I want to give it some time just to be sure. Okay. Also, Lark, welcome in, Felden Kane. How's it going, Todd? Good to see you. Guys, if you're not following our friends and mods, Gibson Lens, please give Gibson Lens a follow. Pianist, composer, released his first album a year ago. I just realized while I'm over here, you guys can't see me unless I stick my head in. And then also, if you guys are not following our friend and mod, Felden Kane, definitely give Felden Kane a follow. Variety Gamer has been collaborating with a bunch of other people playing games. Also did cooking stream with his mom. So thank you kindly for a shout out. You're welcome, Felden Kane. All right, let's check the jackfruit one. The jackfruit texture is very firm. Alright, internal temperature looks like it's probably close. There is sometimes when I initially put the thermometer in that I don't know if it's actually hot or not. Okay. Alright, looks like both of these are probably done. So I'm going to pop them both out. Okay, so here we go. Jackfruit. Boom. Impossible. Boom. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and just put the real pork sausage in. I'm just making two for completion's sake. These did not need to thaw. because they were already not frozen. Okay. Okay, alright. We are less than a minute away from the cook time completion, but then we're going to leave this in the Instapot so that it can release the air naturally and slowly. So 10, 15 more minutes. Certainly the sausage will be done by then, and we'll probably would have tasted all of them. So I will do a taste test. I'm actually going to let these cool a little bit, but then we'll take a bite of each and we will talk about them. Okay, that beeping from the Instant Pot was just telling me that the 7 minutes is up. So that's good. Now we wait. So I want to say that cooking pasta in the Instant Pot doesn't save any time. If you're looking for time savings, I'm not sure if it actually saves time for pasta, but I've noticed that it comes out really consistently like every single time. And you don't have to babysit it as much, especially if you're prone to like putting more pasta than the size of the pot, or you might get boilovers and stuff like that. So there's no risk of that basically with the Instapot. But there's often times where I'm like cooking pasta on the stovetop, and it's like, oh no, this is too firm still, and you should always do the taste test. But then there's always times where it's like, oh no, I kept it in there too long, it's too floppy, right? And the Instant Pot just kind of removes all of that. Alright, I'm just going to do one more plate after this plate, and then we will taste. Okay, alright. Can I flip these over yet? I'm going to say no yet. Okay. Alright, okay, so let's start with the jackfruit. So, I have had this before. I actually like this as an analog for sausage for a while, but between the cost by weight and the size, it's not always the best as far as like, calories or taste per dollar. But I did want to support it when I first saw it, and I'm like, I can't justify it all the time, but when it's on sale, I'll occasionally get the jackfruit. But I usually eat it with stuff, so whether it's like with eggs or toast or like in a sandwich or something. So this is just going to be my taste of jackfruit, Japanese jackfruit sausage by itself with nothing else. So it's got a soft texture. It's not going to be as chewy as real sausage. It kind of almost breaks and melts in your mouth texturally. The taste, it's a little bit salty. You can almost taste that it's a little bit artificial because they probably have to add something to make it like savory. And so I almost definitely taste like that monosodium glutamate. I don't think there's necessarily MSG in this, but like could be like torula yeast or something like that. Hold on, we're gonna check the ingredients. So in this thing, there's jackfruit, water, soy flour, canola oil, onion, salt, and then 2% or less of spices, natural flavors, garlic powder, brown sugar, yeast extract. That's the thing I'm tasting. So yeast extract, which is like an MSG kind of replacement or substitute. Methyl cellulose, sugar, ginger, oil, fruit, and vegetable juice. Contains soy. So I would say overall, it doesn't taste bad. And if you can't have real meat, it's actually a pretty good tasting substitute. I had actually not heard of jackfruit until I saw the products from this company, Jack and Annie's, on the shelf at my local supermarket, and they were on sale. But they don't just have sausage; they have things like meatballs. They have things like jackfruit chicken, and I tried a few of them. They taste fine. If you are used to having like the real foods and with explosive taste, this is probably not going to be like a suitable replacement for you. But it tastes good, and if you want to have something that's like plant-based, perfectly fine. Alright, I think we could probably flip these over now. Oops. Attempted to flip, did not flip. Alright. Flip this over. Oh, I can see where the oil has pooled a little bit. So hang on, let me get some of that oil over here. Alright. Okay. Next up, Impossible. So I've had the Impossible Burger before. I don't think I've ever had the Impossible Sausage before. If I have, it was not very memorable or anything like that. I imagine that some of the meat is the same, maybe the flavorings are a little bit different. So, alright. Oh. Bert, thank you so much for the 30 stream watch streak! Guys, anybody who has a stream watch streak really over like 5 has to be commended, because thank you so much for the 30 stream watch streak. Because I don't have like a regular schedule of streaming. I just stream whenever, except for Sunday. That's the only time that's officially on the schedule. Like, I didn't know I was going to have time to cook today. But I'm like, oh, maybe I should stream. I'm like, oh, good timing. Alright, so let's do it. But thank you so much, Bert, for the stream watch streak. Thanks for the lurk. I appreciate it. Alright, maybe I should have a palate cleanser in between. It's nothing like coffee as a palate cleanser. Okay, here we go. Impossible Sausage. You know, the one thing I didn't do with that one was smell it, so here, let me smell this. I'll go back to smelling that one in a second. Alright, so this does smell like, if you've smelled like other Impossible meat, it does have the smell of Impossible meat. Okay. I would argue that this Impossible Sausage has a softer texture than that. Even though it's thicker, it definitely breaks apart more easily, but also it has a little bit more texture to remind you of real sausage. So like this almost has a little bit more of that. It doesn't quite match up to real sausage, but like it has a little bit more something where it makes it seem like, oh hey, this kind of is very reminiscent of sausage. The taste, surprisingly, doesn't taste as artificial as I thought it was going to. I can almost taste a little bit of that like yeast extract kind of taste in there, but it's not Alright, let's check the ingredients of this thing. OBS disconnected. What the heck? Felden Kane says, I would not have been able to keep my streak if not for Stream Cord. I know. Streamcord has been a lifesaver for me lately because I'm like, I was usually historically very bad at at remembering streaks and without or even just posting my own streams. Okay, so ingredients: water, soy protein concentrate, sunflower oil, coconut oil, 2% or less of methyl cellulose, salt, yeast extract. There it is. Cultured dextrose, spices, food starch modified, onion powder, dextrose, garlic powder, natural soy flavors, citric acid, vitamin E, hemoglobin, soy protein isolate. So it looks like there's a few more ingredients in this one. Actually, now that it mentions like onion powder, garlic powder kind of stuff, I definitely taste some of that in there. I think that's what's giving it a little bit of extra. Alright, so now just to be a little bit fair, I'm going to go ahead and cut a little bit of this and give this a smell as well. So for the Jack and Annie's jackfruit, surprisingly has a different kind of aroma and odor. Like, if you were to smell this, I don't think you would think it smells like sausage. This could be like the jackfruit smell or something similar, because like the primary ingredient is jackfruit. So, but other than that, like, I don't think it would have like, it has like a slight almost smoky, but I think it's because when I cooked it, the Maillard effect, that's probably what's giving it that smoky, because I did have like a little ring around the outside, but yeah. Yeah, so I'd say this, even though it crumbles compared to sausage, this actually is slightly firmer than this. This has a little bit more actual sausage reminiscent texture. This one you taste more of, Jack and Annie's, you taste more of the artificialness, I think. This one, it seems like it's less, so I would say this is less flavorful than this one. But I think most of the ingredients are the same, so you can taste more flavor in this one. Okay, let's go ahead and... Yep, smells like Impossible Meat. Yeah, the thing is, this one doesn't taste as flavorful as that one. So if you're looking for a flavor between these two, Jack and Annie's is better. If you're looking to match sausage texture and you don't want to have real sausage, this one is better. Impossible. Okay. Alright, let's check the real sausage. These are cooking up pretty nicely. Looks like they are done, technically. Yep. Let's just flip them over really quick and see if, alright, there you go. So this was real sausage cooked at the same temperature, real pork sausage. I'm just going to turn this off. The fan doesn't turn off right away. That's okay, that's normal. Okay, and we will give that a minute to cool. Or actually, I can speed it up. But as you can see, I did not, well, first of all, I cooked these all at roughly like the same temperature, 280, for long enough for them to get cooked, to get up to about, I think it varied a little bit between like 170 and 183 were the temperatures that I saw, so, but, these ones browned up kind of like as part of the, like, that level of cooking process. At temperatures like this sausage doesn't brown yet because it's real meat, so the Maillard effect temperatures I think are higher, or at least if not higher, longer temp, so like the little bit of oil that's in there, it's enough to just brown a little bit, but you can see that the whole thing isn't as brown as these. So I think we'll have to put that up to like 300, 320 degrees Fahrenheit to get like Maillard at the times that we were cooking at. Something like that. But, oh yeah, let me cleanse the palate with coffee. All right. Is this hot? Okay. All right, here we go. Real pork sausage. I mean, I know what this is going to taste like. I do have pork sausage. Like, probably weekly. So it's got a firm texture. Firmer than this. Definitely has the reminiscent of actual pork sausage because it is real pork sausage. So it does what this is trying to do better. It's got some of that fat. I can taste some fat. These kind of lack. Like, I know they try and put substitutes in there to try and simulate some of the fat, especially like Impossible, like burgers and Impossible and like Beyond Burgers. They put like something that simulates the fat so that when you cook it, the fat comes out. Oftentimes it's like some other fat like substitute, like coconut oil or palm oil or something like that. But this is actual pork sausage fat. And the thing is, if you like the taste of that, it's super hard to replicate without actually using pork fat. Same thing, like if you want the taste of bacon and you don't want to eat bacon, if you can just get some bacon fat, that can instill some of the aroma and taste of bacon just right into the fat. Yeah, so overall, I would say, and here's the thing, right? I'm not like in the business of like bashing any products, but they all have their very specific uses, and depending on your use case, because I know everybody's different, right? Everybody has different dietary needs. Everybody wants to eat differently. Everybody has different reasons for eating different things. And so, you know, I'm trying to just do a neutral taste test and just give you what I think, and you use that information however you want. Which is the way it should be. But the thing is, the way that people get views, the way that they get like articles, they put clickbaity titles, they lean into one side, and it's just like, you know, that's not the best for people, but it's the thing that people will click on and read and look at and things like that. So it's super unfortunate, but here we go. Okay, so I'm just gonna move this off for a second. Wait a minute. Okay, the pasta is now done. I'm just going to open up the top to see if pressure comes out. I think it should be clear by now because it's been done for 17 minutes. Nope, it's still going. All right. So you know that means we can get started on our roux for our sauce. And I will need, let me see here. I will need probably this spatula. Okay, so I have kind of like a big stock pot right here. Let me slide this forward maybe. I might continue munching on some of these, but we don't need them to be on camera per se. Actually, can I just push them really far forward? Okay, yeah, that should get me enough space, I think. Alright, so, for those of you who don't know what a roux is, it is a, like a, was it a suspension? It's not like a mixture, right? So it's a suspension. And we're going to use butter and flour to start it. And then we're going to pour in milk. And then we're going to put in the cheese. So I'm going to start this off kind of like low. Actually, let's start off at 200. Grabbing the largest whisk I have, which is this one. We have 3 sizes, and they're all roughly smaller than this. I have the butter out. We'll grab the cheese. So yeah, this is how big a shredded cheese bag that I had gotten, because my wife had asked me to get shredded cheese. And the little bags don't make sense, but I don't normally like to have this. I'll normally shred my own cheese, but I'm like, alright, this is, because they actually ran out of like the medium-sized bags. I'm like, fine, I'll get this one. But I have to use it for something now, so here we are. We're going to be making mac and cheese. And then we're going to be adding milk to make sure it is fine. This is still within expiration date, but always smell your milk first. Make sure it's fine. Okay, I think it's probably okay. I will be able to use this, no problem. Because I just realized if the milk was not good, we'd be boned because I would have nothing. Alright, okay. So, first things first, we're going to chuck some butter in there. It's kind of subjective on like how much butter you want, how much sauce you're going to be making. The more sauce, the more butter. I think I'm going to put in, let's start with half of this stick, and we'll go from there. Okay, first order of business, half a stick of butter. I think some people at this point would just chuck in the whole stick. Alright, so now we're just going to move that butter around until it melts a little bit. It's going to be that creamy. So if you're doing this over an uncontrolled like temperature stovetop, this is kind of where you do have to work a little bit quickly, but I have the induction and I can control the temperature a little bit more finely, so I don't necessarily need to rush to get through each step. Right now I'm just moving it around to melt it. So you're just going to get this layer of liquid butter at the bottom. Speaking of which, I have to add butter to the grocery list. Because we are running out of, well, we're running out of salted butter. I'm using salted butter. We have unsalted butter too, but I was going to add salt to this anyway, so I'll just add less. Okay, alright, so butter has been melted. Now, when I first started making roux, I really messed this up. I didn't understand what to do, so I was like, oh, I think this is going to be a good process to get on video. Whether it's for anybody else or really just for me to reference later or whatnot. So now I'm going to be adding flour to the butter. As I add the flour to the butter, I'm going to be stirring kind of, not furiously, but so that it gets well mixed in there. So, add the flour, add a little bit. And what you're going for is you want there to be like some clumps, and that the butter with the flour is going to be thickened. And this is what's going to allow the cheese to melt in there and become like a sauce that flows. Because if you just try and put the cheese into just a hot pan, it'll melt, but then it might burn, the cheese fat might separate. It doesn't really become like a good sauce. And I learned this like a long time. I'm like, why can't I just... And I did the experiment and I'm like, oh, that's why. So, and sometimes you might think that, oh, I don't know if I'm putting in enough flour. It's just kind of like up to how well you stir and how much butter you put in. So, I'm just going to kind of keep on doing this until it stops becoming liquid. And it's getting a little bit solid, like it's sticking a little bit. So like, I don't know if you can kind of see on the back end right here. When I move the whisk through, it's still liquidy where it kind of closes up that gap, but it's getting to the point where it's almost not there. So, you know, once it gets to like that point where I think I'm almost there right now, so maybe I'll stop putting this flour just for a second. Okay. I think we're there. I kind of, actually, maybe I just want like a little tiny bit more. I am going to up the heat a little bit. Now we're going to get ready for the milk. So what we did was start with butter, add flour, stir and mix, wait until it gets a little bit solid enough where it's just like a paste. I can see a little bit of bubbles now. That's what we want. Grab the milk, start pouring in milk slowly while mixing. So here we go. So I'm going to pour, the initial pour is like generous enough. It's going to be liquidy until you start breaking up these parts, these butter flour parts. Until it looks like smooth, then I'm pouring a little bit more. Mix until smooth. And then at this point I can go a little bit more ham and just pour in a chunk more. So you want there to be enough of a liquid layer so that when you start putting in the cheese, like the cheese will basically just melt in the liquid before it touches the bottom. Alright, so now we've got enough milk in there. I'm going to increase the heat just so that when we put in the cold cheese, it's going to hopefully melt pretty quickly. I'm going to leave the milk handy just in case I need some more, but if I am done with it, I will put it back in the fridge. Okay, so there we go. Let's go ahead and start grabbing cheese and chucking it in there. I say that as though I'm actually going to chuck it in there. You want to slowly distribute it throughout and while stirring. So, actually this might be easier if I, you know what, YOLO. Okay, so here we go. As I said, I normally use shredded cheese that I will shred myself, but we bought this and I was like, I need to use it for something. The major difference is that shredded cheese has a bunch of cellulose in it. That's the anti-caking stuff, so that the shreds don't stick to each other. So, alright, I'm turning up the heat a little bit. Okay, it was not hot enough to start melting this, so I'm just gonna wait until this is hot enough, and you'll know that it's hot enough because the cheese pieces are not going to be cheese pieces very long, and the color of the milk will start to change into the color of the cheese because it'll just be melted in there. And I try and switch arms because I noticed that when I'm doing this with just one arm the entire time, that one arm is going to get tired real fast. So You don't have to have like the best stirring technique to do this. Okay, so it looks like most of that has melted and has been incorporated. So let's go ahead and add some more. Whoops. Oh, good. Okay, so now as I'm stirring this around, you might be able to see that it's becoming more of like a sauce. As the cheese melts, it's becoming more like a sauce. And it's actually getting tougher to stir, which is why I'm warning you about switching arms, because if you do your one arm and you're doing a big batch, it will get tired. Okay, hold on, I'm going to grab this spatula. This is the one I'm going to use later, so. Okay, here we go. Alright, if it looks like it's getting too thick too early before you put too much cheese in it, this is where you can add more milk. Not that I necessarily need the milk now, but I just want it to be easier to stir. Because I plan on putting more of the cheese in here, so. Oh, I was like, what's that message? Is that a bot? And then I looked really close at the message and I'm like, oh yeah, that's my bot. That's not my, I mean, it's the bot that I chose to put. Like, wait a second. Okay, alright. More cheese. My goal is to use a huge, non-trivial chunk of this bag. Okay, looks like it's turning out to be a pretty good texture. That's good. Okay, waiting for more cheese. So as you stir it, as it becomes bigger, as it retains more heat, it's going to have more heat. So when you put in more cheese shreds, they'll melt faster. So like they'll sit on the top until they melt in there, as opposed to being in a liquid. So. But this is the part that pays off if you want to, you have to be patient here. You don't want to rush the cheese sauce making process. You could easily ruin it. I'm debating on changing the heat, but I think it's kind of like at a good level. Actually, I am going to drop it. Alright, more cheese! So you can see, I know that the light is kind of weird on it, but it's getting more yellow. Here, let me also pull some up. It's starting to drip off of that. You kind of see it right there. It's not quite thick yet, so we're not quite where we want to be yet. We're getting there, we're getting there. And I did add a fair amount of milk, so we can hold more cheese. More cheese! Andres, welcome in. Hi, everyone. Hi, Andres. Andres, how are you doing today? Hopefully you're doing well. I am cooking. So right now I have done a taste test of 3 different sausages. This is a jackfruit sausage. This is a fake meat sausage, soy meat called Impossible. This is real pork sausage. I did review all of them. They all tasted different, depending on what you like and what your needs are. But and then we made pasta in the Instant Pot, which I haven't taken out yet. I think depressurization is probably done. Yep. Okay, I didn't hear any depressurization. Now I'm making a roux with cheese. We're making a cheese sauce, so that we are going to be putting the pasta in here. So it's macaroni and cheese, but it's not like elbow macaroni. It's like a fancy one. We are making gemelli. So yeah, that's where we're at. Oh, I kind of wanted to do this, so let me go ahead and do this. Alright. Hey, Andres. I just gave you a badge. I am currently on a very important mission, and the mission is to prepare myself to obtain a B1 English certificate. Oh, Andres. Sounds very delicious. Andres, good luck with attaining your English certificate. I know I mostly speak in English, so hopefully that has helped your comprehension. But good luck. Good luck. English is surprisingly a very difficult language because there's a lot of, how should I say, there are a lot of exceptions, a lot of special rules to remember, and as sometimes we joke here, the United States isn't really one country, it's 50 little tiny countries together. So, yeah, that's kind of... And some of those countries speak English differently! Yeah, it's wild that, like, you know, Texas fits, like, a large chunk of, like, Western Europe in terms of land size. And it's just, like, that's how big that's how big one state is. Or, in that case, well, it's one of the largest states, but it's crazy. Okay, so, alright, the cheese sauce is actually turning out to be a little bit smooth right now. That's good. It's not quite as yellow as I want, or orange. So we're going to add some more. But if anybody's doing something like making a nacho cheese sauce, this is actually a really good way to make that as well. It's got to be the thick consistency. Now, the thing that we haven't done yet is, the important part is we want to make this as cheesy as we're going to make it first. Then we're going to add spices. So we'll add spices to this at some point after we're done adding the cheese. Helps too much. Alright, I think I can understand about 70 or 80% of what you say. Your English is really friendly. Oh, thank you. I know sometimes I speak very quickly. It depends on how excited I am. If I'm very excited, I will speak very fast. And then other times, I can go really slow. But yeah, good luck with the English comprehension test. I don't know what that particular certification is, but hopefully you get it. That's exciting. So, exciting news about my app. We officially have the 12 testers, and they have been opted in for 1 day out of the 14 days. So, I've got 13 more days to go. I did tell everybody not to opt out, which they do have to take explicit, like, actions to get to opt out, but I think at this point we're going to be... Just so long as nobody decides to troll me, it's probably okay. Okay, so the sauce is getting thick. I do want to add a little bit more cheese, and I think we have more pasta than that, so I will add some more milk. And then we will add some more cheese. Oh, we can work a Spanish word in this. Queso. This queso. The one other thing that I think I probably should mention, that if sometimes you may not have enough like flavor as much as you'd like. You could add more fat to it, so I could have added more butter initially. I feel like the amount of butter, I want the taste of the cheese and the spices to come through, so I didn't want to like overwhelm, but you could easily just add more fat, more butter. But yeah, I actually have this, I don't want to say it's embarrassing to me, because I'm not really embarrassed, but if other people get embarrassed, this might have been. So I hosted a mac and cheese party at my house many years ago, well before the pandemic. And I invited like all of my friends, hey, everybody make your mac and cheese, bring it over. We'll do taste testing, everybody can taste everything, and everybody fills out, you know, their top 3, and then we grant a winner to see who had the best mac and cheese. And I did participate, but I felt like I got a couple of pity votes just because I was the host, and I didn't know how to make a cheese sauce. I didn't know how to do this, and so I had cheated because I used a lot of cream cheese. It's kind of like using Velveeta, but you know, using cream cheese instead. And you know, it was fine. Like, it tasted good, but it wasn't like as good as a bunch of my friends. And so after that, I was like, I'm gonna learn how to make a cheese sauce. And so here we are, using the technique I learned to make a cheese sauce. But this is kind of like the standard way you make a cheese sauce at home. So. But needless to say, I think I make mac and cheese way better now than I did before that party. Since then, I've only had one other party, and then I kind of stopped hosting because I think logistics, the pandemic, and then we had a kid, and so I haven't had like a food tasting party. But the next one was a chili party. I fared better in the chili party, but I got wrecked. I feel like I got wrecked in the mac and cheese one. So. But there's my one friend. So I have this one friend. He's a board gaming buddy of mine, and I think undoubtedly we have a crew of people where about half of us are like really good cooks. But unanimously, he won first place in both competitions, both the chili and the mac and cheese. So he is certainly one of the best cooks, if not the best cook amongst our circle of friends. And I'm like, man. So often he and I will just chat about like food and tasting and things like that. So, but yeah, no, he's really good at cooking. All of his stuff tastes really good. Felden Kane says, whoa, Nam speaks Spanish now? No, I don't speak Spanish. I do have a favorite word in Spanish, though. My favorite word is ferrocarril. So if you didn't know what my favorite word in Spanish is, it's ferrocarril. Alright. Okay, I gotta catch up. As far as I understand it, it's a certificate that proves I can speak English. I don't know the specific name, but I know it will help me get jobs that require English, although I really need a B2 or C1 level, which is a bit beyond my current level. Oh, well, I think if you just keep on practicing Andres, you can get there. I believe anybody can do anything. I mean, look, I can develop apps, I can cook, I can do magic, you know. So I can pick locks. Felden Kane, mind blown. Thanks for the mind blown. Impressive. Yeah, no, I don't think I speak Spanish. My limited, so let's see. I know sombrero, gato, amigo, pantalones, el presidente, el estúpido. Let's see. What else can I say? What's that? Cielo es azul, something like that. Donde aprendiste la palabra estúpido? So I don't know. I enjoy languages. I wouldn't say I can speak other languages. I know a bunch of words. I have an interest in like linguistics. So I think maybe in another life I enjoyed linguistics. Okay, so we're making a fair amount of cheese sauce right now. I think we're almost at the saturation that I want. And I think we've used almost as much as I think I could use from the bag. Almost. Presi, muchas gracias. I was JK. Felt. Oh my god! I never realized that with the letters you could do JK, dude. Todd, thanks for showing me that. With my own animated emotes, I didn't know I could do JK. Okay, where did you learn estupido? Oh, I don't know. A bunch of my friends say stupid. Mind blown. Spelled again. Yeah, I didn't plan that. That was just I was like, Jack Queen King, J Q K, and A for ace, and that was it. So JK, I have a reason to use JK all the time now. Oh man, Todd, thank you for doing that. That that never occurred to me. I cannot believe I did not think about that. Okay, alright, this is getting thick. This is getting nice looking. Let's see. Okay, we can go a little bit more just to thicken it up, I think. At this point, I'm probably done with the milk, so let's put that back in the fridge. Redeem the more you know. The more you know. Today I learned that my own animated emotes can do JK. Oh, look at that. So it's coming off of the whisk. A lot thicker now. Alright, almost there with the cheese. Almost there. Very close, very close. I remember doing this on my gas stove. And gas stoves are nice for one reason, is that the temperature doesn't change in the pot and pan so fast that you get weird things like burning. And you know, gas technically, they say that it reacts faster than like conductive heat or electric, but there's a lot of waste, right? Because there's a lot of heat that's going up and around the sides and up through the top that ends up not getting into the pan or in the food. So that kind of bothered me. So that's kind of why I switched over to this. Between the safety and the technical energy savings, but the environmental aspect too, because I have a kid, right? And so they're always worried about what people are breathing, and I'm like, well. And then I really thought about it. I'm like, I'm lighting a fire in my house with gas all the time. Gas is considered a dangerous, volatile thing. And I'm like, oh, alright. But just the fact that this saves money, like, so far I've been pretty happy with it. Cooking with it is different, but it's not something that you can't overcome. Like, you can just figure it out. You can adapt. Oh, look at that. Look at that cheese. Okay. Alright, I think... Okay, I'm going to just drop the heat a little bit. So I need it to stay liquid. So I need to stay hot enough to stay liquid, but I don't need it to melt additional cheese now. So, we're going to put the rest of this back in the fridge. Okay, I don't need this. Okay, we're going to add spices. So, start with black pepper. So when you have a large amount of sauce like this, you kind of need a lot of spice. Otherwise, you're not really going to taste it. So this is going to be an arm workout for a second. I don't know if it's staying as liquid as I want, so I will up the heat back to a little bit warmer. Okay, so we've got a lot of cracked black pepper in there. Let's go ahead and get some salt. Now I did use salted butter, so I don't need to go as crazy with the salts. Okay, alright, now the fun stuff. Let's see here. Okay, so if you like to have some savory flavors, I like to put cumin in my cheese sauce, so we're just going to put a little bit of cumin in there. Mixing that up. I do like to have a little bit of heat. I'm going to grab cayenne in a second. So yeah, once you mix it all up, it doesn't look like there's any powder in there. It just looks like there's a few specks of things. So let's do a little bit of cayenne. I can't make it be too much because then my wife won't like it. So a little bit more. Put a little bit of green in there. Let's do some oregano. Most people don't put oregano in a cheese sauce, so just me. Okay, let's go ahead and put a little bit of onion powder and garlic powder in there. This is onion powder. It's not using the big chunks, let's just get some of the powder. So yeah, this has hardened over the last year or so, and there's big chunks in there. Alright, garlic powder has fared a lot better, so I can just put a little bit in there. Okay, there we go. That might have been a little too much, but that's okay. Okay, mixing this up. All that saucy goodness in there. Make sure that when you're stirring, you might get some along the edges, so scrape that back in. This cheese sauce is going to be amazing. Okay, I'm going to now open up the pressure cooker. Take a look at how the pasta fared. So when you open it up, regardless of how long you had it wait, it's still going to be hot, so we're going to just grab one with a pair of chopsticks. We're gonna cool it. We'll give it a taste test, even though I'm sure it's perfect. Yep, very good. And it's soft and supple like I wanted. Not al dente. Something to scoop it out. Okay, so cheese sauce. Yeah, I think I need this to be at the warmer temperature. Okay. Alright. There is some leftover water at the bottom of this, but that's okay. Alright, here we go. So now we're going to be putting the pasta into the cheese sauce. I am going to try not to get too much of the liquid though. So, alright, here we go. Pasta, cheese sauce. Stir, stir, stir. Alright. Grabbing some of the pasta. Not too much of the liquid. Placing it into the cheese sauce. Cheese sauce. Stir, stir, stir. Alright, grabbing another scoop of the pasta. Placing it into the cheese sauce. Stir, stir, stir. So the question is, will I have any pasta left over, or are we using all of it in the cheese sauce? That's the question. Pasta in the cheese sauce. Felden Kane's like, Pastafarian. Alright, so you want to put enough pasta so that you can basically see a bunch of the pasta and it's not still mostly liquid cheese sauce. I'm actually tempted to say we might have made maybe just the perfect amount of liquid cheese sauce. Because I'm thinking we're going to put basically all of this in here. And that would be amazing. I usually don't get all the proportions this correctly. I'm usually like, too much cheese sauce, or too much pasta. But maybe because I'm streaming, I have extra streaming cooking powers today. And so you could also be like, this might be close to like restaurant level fancy mac and cheese. Okay. And then almost all of it is in there, so let me just get the last little bit. Oh man, this is probably going to be perfect, just perfect enough. Okay, are there any more pasta pieces? No! Alright. Stir, stir, stir. Alright, and at this point, if there's anything else you wanted to add spice-wise, you could. I won't be adding anything else to this main pot, because then we will just have this mac and cheese here. However, I might make a smaller batch right now where I mix a bunch of other things into it. So, for the time being, let me cut the heat. I think we're probably okay. bowl. I am going to move all of these out of the way. Alright, let's show you guys. I don't know if the light's going to look super weird on that. Here's the mac and cheese. Alright. Let's get a... Do I have a fork? Let's just get a new fork. Let's scoop some of it out. Give it a taste. So here we go. Scooping some of it out. Look at that. Look at that scoop. So you guys will get a peek into how I plate things. So I'm gonna do some fancy plating of this for, you know, the social media. So this one is okay to stay because it's tall enough. This one's too short, so I can't just leave this in there. Okay. So here we've got a little bowl for some color. We're gonna add some chives, dry chives. We'll put a little bit of red pepper flakes. So when I actually put red pepper flakes on, I actually put it in my hand and then I will drop it on so that it's like evenly spread. I like it a little spicy, so that's... Okay, so let's go ahead and take a picture of this. And then B, we will lift it up to the camera so you can see. Boom. All right. Let's taste it. So if anybody is a fan of drenching their pasta in cheese sauce, this is the way to go. Soft, supple, creamy. I think I'll probably use a little bit more spice. I didn't put that much extra salt in it, and I think it actually brings out the other flavors. It doesn't taste too salty. You know how sometimes when you have like cheap mac and cheese or like mac and cheese from like a package, it tastes really salty. It does not in this case. So this might be more. I'm gonna hop over to this screen. You guys can see me better. So we're gonna let that cool just for a couple minutes. And then, let me see. How much time do we have? So I'm going to eat a little bit of this. And then depending on if I want to end stream or if we're going to keep on cooking, I'll show you how to add things to the mac and cheese. But I'm hungry, so we're definitely going to finish this bowl before we make a decision. Keo Demon, welcome in. How's it going? Guys, if you're not following our friend Keo Demon, please give Keo Demon a follow. Keo Demon, the resident expert of Hades, and About to head to work. All right, excellent. Have a great time at work. Kyo Demon, I refined the Hades magic trick, and I just posted up on my YouTube channel today. So hopefully you enjoy the Hades magic trick. Oh, yeah. I dropped it in. I think I dropped it in your Discord as well. So I think if you look for a link that I dropped in there, you'll see my Hades magic trick refined and put on YouTube. Bet. Charlie's Beats, welcome in. How's it going, Charlie's Beats? Guys, you're not following our friend Charlie's Beats. Please give Charlie's Beats a follow. Charlie's Beats. His famous Twitch chatter in Twitch. Also has been known to stream before. May one day stream again. You won't know until you follow him. So, but anyway, so we just finished doing a sausage taste test. We tasted Jack and Annie's jackfruit sausage. We tasted Impossible Burger's sausage, and then I had a real pork sausage for comparison. All good for different reasons, different qualities, so it depends on who you are, what you like to eat, will determine which one's the best for you. Of course, cost is a thing too, and some of them are more expensive than others, so that's kind of up to people. And then we made this fancy macaroni. Or actually, wait, I just have to. I realize that camera's off now. So we made this fancy macaroni. It's like gemelli. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like twirled noodles. And I made a roux and cheese sauce. That took the longest because, you can't rush a good cheese sauce. And then I just put the macaroni into the cheese sauce with a lot of spices. And now we're enjoying the bowl. And then depending on if I'm going to end stream after this, or we might continue cooking. So we shall see. But yeah, so that's what we're up to. Kyo Demon asks, did you clarify the butter first? The answer is no, I did not clarify the butter first, nor did I use clarified butter. I used a half stick of butter, and I just used it. Sorry, Kyo Demon, were you expecting greater and higher quality butter? Because I'm sorry. Fair enough, Law. No, actually, that's not the offensive part. The offensive part is that... So normally I would use a block of cheese and shred it and use that. But today I used... This is a blasphemous thing for me to say. Pre-shredded cheese. Yeah, I know. That's the thing that you should be like, oh, Nam, why did you use pre-shredded cheese? And I told the story. I bought a huge bag for my wife. She wanted some pre-shredded cheese. They ran out of the medium-sized bags. Didn't make sense to make the little one, so I got the big one. And now she's like, oh, this is too much cheese. And I'm like, I know, there wasn't any medium-sized bags. And she's like, okay. So I had to come up with something to use a bunch of the pre-shredded cheese from the large bag. So that's where we're... Gasp! Says Kyo Demon! Yeah, I know, right? That's... Yeah, no. But, let me bring out the sausages again. So here, this is, we have Jack and Annie. Wait. You know what? I'm just gonna do this. Alright, Jack and Annie's jackfruit. I would say this is a very flavorful. Doesn't have the sausage texture, but it does have a, like a, how should I say, artificial taste, but the taste flavor is actually pretty good. It's pretty powerful for what it is. Not bad. It is soft in texture. It falls apart a little bit, but not as much as Impossible. So Impossible sausage it has more of like the sausage texture, but it's very soft. It falls apart even more easily than the jackfruit. And surprisingly, it doesn't taste as flavorful as the jackfruit one. So that's the Impossible sausage. And then, of course, the real pork... Oh, and I don't know if you could tell. I could cut these with a fork. I don't think I could cut the real sausage with a fork. Or at least not without some effort. So... Real pork sausage, if you've had real pork sausage before, tastes like pork sausage. It's firm, has the pork sausage flavor, has this other flavor that you can't really replicate because it's from the fat. So, yeah. Demon says, I got to make a calamari lemonade on stream one day. Yo. That sounds ridiculous. I don't even know what a calamari lemonade is. So... Alright, okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take out a bunch of this out of this pot and put it into a storage container. Now, for anybody who would want to continue doing this, what you could do is put this mac and cheese into a baking glass safe bowl, and then you can put it in the oven. You can sprinkle some buttered breadcrumbs on top, and then it will come out with a nice crunchy. I'm not going to do that with this one because that's not what I was in the mood for, but something you could do. Well, what we're going to do is I'm going to see if I can add maybe some of this sausage, maybe some other vegetables to a smaller batch of the mac and cheese so that I can have it with some vegetables because, you know, mac and cheese by itself isn't usually that healthy. This is probably a little bit slow. I have a larger ladle, but I've already messed up this spoon, so I'm like, I'm going to have to wash this spoon anyway. If I get a ladle, I'm going to have to wash that and this, so I'm just like, I'm just going to use this. Okay, and actually the goal here is not to get everything because I want some of it to stay in here, so... Now, there is a block of cheese that's in my fridge that I do like to use because the cheese itself is naturally spicy. So when I don't have to use like existing cheese, that's the cheese I like to use. Actually, I can, after I do this, I can pull it out and show you that cheese block. Alright, I think we filled this up to its desired capacity. So I'm just going to put this off to the side. Actually, let me show you that cheese block. So this cheese is called Buffalo Wing Hot Sauce cheese, and I like spicy stuff, but I cannot have like a piece of this without being like, wow, that's kind of almost too hot for a cheese. And so but what I have been doing is I shred this and put it into the mixture, and I mix it with some other cheese, and it comes out like very, so the cheese sauce comes out having like heat. You can initially take a bite, maybe even 2 bites, and you don't feel any heat yet, and then it builds and it builds, and then it's like, wow, it's like it gives you like a really nice heat afterwards. And so that's normally what I like to do with the mac and cheese. Okay, let's see, I need another container. put the spoon? Gosh, where did I put the spoon? Over here. I'm going crazy. Where did I put the spoon? So, the other day, I thought I lost my water bottle. And I was like, not that I was necessarily upset about being like, wow, where's the water bottle? But like, I was more upset that I was like, I never lose my water bottle. Where the heck is it? Like, just trying to prove to myself that I'm not crazy. I mean, I am crazy, but not like that. Not that kind of crazy. Different kind of crazy. And so I was like, where the heck is this water bottle? And so I was like, so I had gone over to visit my friend to play board games. And I messaged him. It's like, hey, is this? Do you see a water bottle over there? And he's like, no, I don't see anything. And I'm like, okay. And I sent him a description of what it looks like, and I proceeded to go about my day. And then like 2 days later, I find my water bottle, and I'm like, wow, I am an idiot. But it's not like, so you know how like when you drop things in your car, like let's say I normally put my water bottle in my cup holder. And it was not there. But it was in my car. And you know how like things roll off and maybe it's not on the seat. Maybe it's under the seat and it's dark. And so, yeah. I ended up finding my water bottle. So there we are. Actually, yeah, let me just remove everything right now. For the time being. Okay, so the one thing that we have in this pot right now is a little bit of residual cheese sauce. And I sure as heck am not going to let this go to waste. So, we're going to be making something in here to mix with the cheese sauce. And we will go from there. Oh, I should not put this in here. I'm going to put this on this plate. Alright. So here we go. Continuation of the stream. I think I've decided, or I'm just going to keep on cooking because I've already got everything set up. So most of like the initial setup of stream is like, so like I have 2 cameras, the microphone, making sure everything in the kitchen is like ready. And then I'm like, so breaking it down is annoying because I can't have this set up all the time because my family uses the kitchen all the time. So. Okay. Alright, so let's see. First things first, we're certainly going to use this sausage. Are we going to mix the sausage? Actually, no, first things first, I do need to grab some things. You know what would taste really good with this? Is... Hold on. Please hold. Okay, here we go. I got some peppers. So we should probably, let me think, how much do I want to make? Let's grab a big orange piece and like a little red piece. Q Demon says, going to lurk as well, brother. Alright, thanks for lurking. Thanks for stopping by, Q Demon. And then, thanks for the lurk, Bert. Okay, so, let's go ahead and grab this orange piece. Now, these are frozen, so what I do is I purchase peppers in bulk, I cut them up, and then I store them in the freezer, so I don't have to feel pressured about using them all at once. And then both it saves you money, and then I know that these peppers are like peppers that I gutted myself, so that's nice. Now, ideally, I would like to cut them, but they are frozen solid right now. So we're going to place them into our microwave to thaw. So placing it on a microwave dish, putting it into the microwave. Okay, I'm going to defrost them, so hopefully that will be enough. But, so what am I going to do? Let me see. Let's use the real sausage for this. So I'm going to start cutting up the real sausage into... And this is going to be like me showing the philosophy of when I make food, I basically never waste it. So I come up with things to do with it. Oftentimes, if you follow my Instagram, you might see me use some of the same ingredients a few dishes in a row. That's because I'm trying to use up whatever that ingredient is. Whoops. I'm okay. I'm okay. Alright, so yeah, this is kind of like a creative way if you don't like to waste food. If you really think about it, right? If you waste food, you're wasting a lot of resources because especially if it's not like something that's grown locally, somebody had to make the product, package the product, ship the product to you, and then if you ended up housing the product for a while, and then you throw it away, that's kind of a waste, right? Because that food was intended to be used for consumption. And so they do say that there's some statistics about how much food waste you have, and I'm like, I want to avoid that as much as possible. There is something to be said, though. It's like, you know, don't take any risks with like food poisoning or anything, but there's just a lot more knowledge that people can have and use, and like expiration dates in the United States are really not like, hey, the food is bad and unsafe to eat, with a couple of exceptions, one of which is like baby formula. So by the way, if there's any sort of baby formula that is expired, that is considered very unsafe. Do not use that. But, you know, for dry products, like for example, rice, pasta, like I will have pasta and rice that's been past expiration for like months and it's fine. Like, they're just dry products. You cook them up, you put them with flavored things anyway. It's not a big deal. Okay, so let's go ahead and put a bunch of these sausage chunks into this pot with some cheese sauce in it. Let's see if my peppers are soft enough to cut through now. They should be, I believe. So here, let me go ahead and cut these. So these don't need to be tiny or anything. I kind of want them to be in medium-sized slices. So I'm going to slice these all the way down and then probably just do once in half, and then we'll put those in there. Alright, I don't know who prepares their food or reheats their food in the microwave, but if you're ever getting to the point where, hey, some foods are not safe to just microwave, you can completely reheat it, and especially if you're really good and diligent about doing that every few days, you can actually keep food indefinitely that might spoil really quickly if you just like re-cook it completely every few days. And oftentimes, I find that if I try and I'm like, oh, there's too much to eat, if I end up trying to salvage it and I recook it, I eat some of it anyway, so it's kind of like a habit that I've built to not waste the food. But to each of their own. Because you think about it also, like, it's a waste of money because you are spending money on food that you are not eating, so. That's kind of like why I'm like, oh no, I would never eat frozen vegetables, and I'm like, well, freezing the vegetables is a great way to keep it fresh. So, I'm now okay with frozen vegetables. Okay, alright, so now we've got enough peppers. Let's toss this into the pot as well. That guy Kuyasai, welcome in. What's cooking, Daddy? Brekkie? Brekkie? No, this is lunch. Although this is sausage technically. So, but no, I made We tried 3 different kinds of sausages earlier. Welcome in, Kuyasai. How's it going? But we tried jackfruit sausage, we tried impossible sausage, and then we had real pork sausage. I'm putting the real pork sausage in this. We made pasta in the Instant Pot. I made a cheese sauce, full roux and everything, spiced it up, put the pasta into that to make mac and cheese. I ate a bowl of mac and cheese. Here is some of the mac and cheese here. Now we are continuing so that if you had some mac and cheese, if you wanted to add some other things to the mac and cheese, I just cut up the real sausage, cut up some peppers, orange and red peppers. Let's go ahead and turn the heat up on this. We do need a little bit of liquid to clear up some of the cheese that's stuck to the wall. So I'm going to add a little bit more milk. I know it looks weird right now because there's those savory ingredients in there, but that's okay. It's all going to mix together anyway. It won't be a big deal after the fact. Just playing League, says Kuyasai. Oh yeah, thanks for giving a shout out to our friend, that guy Kuyasai. Cyrus is a musician, also has been playing a lot of video games, so definitely give him a follow. Alright, now I'm going to put back some of that mac and cheese. See, how much do I want? I'm always like a proportion guy, so I always want to make sure that I have like a bite of everything, but not too much of one thing. Okay, so now let's go ahead and give this a mix. The one thing we're looking for here is that we need to soften up the peppers enough. Everything else is basically cooked, so that's fine. So yeah, now I'm scraping the cheese off of the edge of the pot with the rubber spatula. Well, silicone spatula. Subtle but important difference. But as you can tell, it is looking creamy already, so that's pretty good. Let me just up the heat just so that we can get this cooked a little bit faster, because this looks good. The one thing about streaming and cooking is that you run out of counter space really fast, so I'm just putting stuff away. Sorry, if I don't put stuff away. Okay, I don't think we're going to need the Instant Pot for the rest of the day, so I'm going to go ahead and unplug that. And move that out. Okay, this is bubbling now, so let's give it a good stir. Alright, I'm going to turn down the heat because I think I've salvaged most of the cheese sauce that I could from the edges. So here's the thing, I don't have to get the peppers fully soft, I just want to cook them to the point where they're safe to eat. But they can maintain a little bit of a crunch, so it'll give this a little bit of texture. The pasta should be nice, soft, and creamy. The sauce should provide the taste, flavor, spices. The sausage should provide some like meat and like savoriness, and then everything should come together very nicely. Something else I might do if I wasn't just like, we could chop up some spinach, put it in here, give it some green naturally. Alright, I've talked myself into it. Let's do it. I want the chopping board. Or the cutting board. Yeah, that's all I have to do. Just mention something, talk myself into it. We'll do it. I think I'm all set with the butter. I don't need a huge knife. This is like the only thing I'm going to be cutting, basically. So grab a healthy amount of spinach and chop it up. Okay. Yep, doesn't have to be perfectly chopped, that's fine. It's any huge chunks. It's gonna like reduce as it gets heated up anyway. So. Alright, let's make sure this is still liquidy. Yep, looks good. Okay. Let's go ahead and throw the spinach in there. Mix that up. If it looks too green for your liking, add back more of that mac and cheese. I will add a scoop back. Maybe another one. Okay, mixing that up. Okay, so now we have our green. I might not need to add chives to the top of this for color. We have the red and the orange from the peppers. So this by itself could look very nice. Let's see, if you've ever wanted to make mac and cheese that's really cheesy more decadent, you can add some sour cream or you can put some on the top. I feel like I'm good. I don't need to do that today, but if anybody wants, that's a technique you can do. Alright. Okay. So I believe we are done. And I can salvage most of the sauce from the pot, which is another reason why I wanted to do this. Additional cooking step. We use some of that sausage. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to just eat the other sausage, the fake one. The fake ones. Alright, let's see. Oh, is this bowl too small? Hold on. Alright, we might just have 2 servings in the bowl. Let's make sure I have some red. So now, plating is starting right now for this because I'm like trying to see what would look nice for a picture. Okay, alright. So, here's the bowl. let's take a picture. Where's my invite? That guy Kuyasai. If you want, come on over. You're invited right now. But it will probably be gone by, like, the day after tomorrow, so. Alright, so here we go. We're going to take this picture here. Boom. We'll bring it up to camera so you guys can take a look. Here is that bowl. Look at that. That looks mac and cheese, onions, and sausage. And spinach. Let me grab that fork. And we can dine. Alright, let me see here. Let me flip back up here. Alright. Let's taste our now modified with a bunch of adult stuff, sausage and peppers and spinach, things that kids wouldn't like. So let me get a bite with sausage, some of that red pepper and orange pepper. Hold on. Stay in the fork. Stay in the fork. All right. So here we go. One bite. We've got one piece of sausage, one orange pepper, one red pepper, 2 macaronis, and a bunch of cheese sauce, and the spinach is everywhere, so you can't avoid it. Super good. Super creamy. So one of the reasons why I like to have these bigger chunks in a mac and cheese like this is that if you chop things up too small, you won't be able to taste them. It's like the spinach virtually doesn't taste like anything in here. But the sausage chunks, the size that I cut them, they're still big enough that when you bite into it, there's still like a residual, man, I can taste that sausage. The peppers provide a little bit of a crunch, which I expected because we didn't like fully cook them through. We just defrosted them in the microwave and then chopped them up and put them in here and just cooked it for like a little bit. So it gives it a little bit of texture. You can still taste some of the like the pepper if you bite into it and it crunches. It tastes pretty good. So, and of course the creamy mac and cheese, we already tasted that by itself, but I think it is nicely complemented by all these ingredients. I am a little biased. I made it myself. So, it's good. It's good. You know it's good when I stop talking to eat. Yeah, another reason why I wanted to do these cooking streams is because I know some people are like, whoa, did you make that? And I feel like deep down inside, some people are like, I don't believe you made that. And I'm like, no, I made that. Like, maybe not you guys. Certainly some of my friends on my Facebook, I think. Definitely might think that. Super good, super creamy. I once had a mac and cheese that was very similar to this from a restaurant. Pasta wasn't cooked all the way through. I'm like, come on, I can do better than this. And certainly I have. But there's some other mac and cheeses where it's like, It's mostly cheese sauce and like a little bit of macaroni, and I'm like, you know, some people like that, but as I mentioned earlier, I like to have nice proportions of everything. So like here with every bite, if I scoop the fork in and I pick it up, I should get some pasta, right? Like that's the biggest thing in the dish besides the cheese sauce. So yeah, I try not to let food go to waste. So if you can find creative uses for it, that make things taste good, super awesome. And when you get more comfortable and you want to experiment, you'll surprise yourself sometimes. You're like, I don't know if that'll work. Let's just try it. YOLO! And sure enough, it works. Or it doesn't, but you learn that, alright, this won't work, so now I know what not to try. I was reading an article, I actually posted it in my Discord in the parenting channel, but it was about kids thinking about whether they are considered math people or not. And the article discusses that that's not like a problem with the educational system. It's kind of like a cultural mindset like issue. And the thing is, a lot of us here on Twitch, we're all video gamers, right? And so a lot of us think of playing video games as like a growth mindset, because we're not like, oh no, I can't beat this level and then immediately stop. A lot of us are like, oh no, I can't beat this level. Crap, I learned something, let's go ahead and try that level again. Or let me do something different. And that's like the growth mindset. Whereas, if you think about this outside of the realm of gaming, like there are people who say that, oh, I'm not a math person. And this article kind of discusses that kind of at length. And it says that those people who said that, math is really hard, they can't understand it, they see something hard and then they give up, right? And so that's kind of like the, I forgot what mindset that they said, but it was basically the one where they're kind of stable and they don't want to, rock the boat. So they just kind of want to, so they just assume that they can't do it, and then they don't try, they don't apply themselves, they don't attempt it again, they don't do anything, they don't experiment. And so that's the biggest reason why a lot of people aren't quote unquote math people. It's just they're not persistent enough to continue trying. At least that's what the article discusses as far as like how to frame it for your kids. And as a parent, I'm super interested in how to do that, because I want my kid to be able to, learn and understand everything and not just be like, no, that's too hard, I can't do it. I'm like, no, you're not allowed to do that. All right. I think we're getting to the point where I don't have any other plans to cook anything for the rest of the day. I'm probably just gonna start cleaning up. Let me see if there's anybody to raid, and then we should raid. If not, I could probably just take a few more bites of food and then see if there's anybody else to raid in a minute. So, and I have to remember that there's cheese residue in the bottom of this bowl, so I actually have to rinse my hand before I touch computery stuff. Princess Nah, welcome in. How's it going? What was the yellow stuff? Oh, that was the cheese sauce. So, here, we made mac and cheese if you want to see the mac and cheese. Welcome in, Princess Nah. How's it going? Oh, hold on. I keep on thinking that this camera is on, and it's not. But hold on. Okay. Here you go. Mac and cheese. There we go. Very cheesy. So, but anyway, Princess Nah, good to see you. Hopefully you're doing well. Where's the truffle? I don't have any truffle. I'm currently unemployed, so I can't really buy truffle. So, but let's see here. Guys, you're not following our friend Princess Nah. Please give Princess Nah a follow. Princess Nah has done some art streams, done some singing streams. Definitely give Princess Nah a follow. So yeah, today we tasted 3 different kinds of sausages. We had 2 fake sausages. So one was a jackfruit sausage. Another one was a soy-based, it was impossible sausage. And then real pork sausage. So we did that. We made pasta. We made a roux so that we can make the cheese sauce. And then I put the pasta into the cheese sauce. We did add spices to the cheese sauce, so it's not just straight up cheese sauce. And then afterwards I was like, do I want to extend stream and cook a little bit more or just, and I decided yes. So I chopped up some peppers, chopped up the real pork sausage, threw it in there, chopped up some spinach, put it in there. And that's what I just finished a bowl of right here. Well, this is mostly cheese sauce and like a couple small pieces of pasta. But yeah, so that's what we cooked. Thanks for the shout out. You're welcome. Thanks for hopping in. Thanks for hanging out. So we did a lot of stuff, and right now, I'm basically going to be tasked with just cleaning up the kitchen before the family gets home. So, but yeah, I think my next stream I do is probably going to be a Hades stream because I'm getting the itch to play again. I'm not sure when it'll be. I don't know if it'll be tonight or tomorrow or something, but we'll see. And some of my other projects are in progress. So my Android app that I'm making is in the testing phase officially, so we're doing pretty good on that. I did get my requisite 12 people to sign up for testing, and we're 1 full day in, so they have to keep it for another 13 full days for the closed test, and we'll go from there. That guy, Kuyusai, says, League of Legends, when? Hey, Princess Nah. I'm not playing League of Legends, so sorry. I don't think I will be playing League of Legends maybe ever. I think if I was to go back to play any sort of like thing that wasn't esport, I am a huge fan of StarCraft. So, yeah, let's see. That guy Kuyusai says, I've been cooking a lot, just no stream. Gibson Land says, so never. Yeah, I'm probably never gonna play League of Legends. That's the realistic possibility that I won't. So, what will it take me to play League of Legends? I mean, first of all, is League of Legends free? So if not, I'll need the cost of that. And then somebody would have to like, I don't want to put a price on it, but I don't know. Let's say 1,000 gift subs, and then I'll play League of Legends. How's that? That sounds ridiculous, right? Nobody will give me that. Boo, says that guy Kuzai. So, yeah, like the thing is, I don't really want to play League of Legends, honestly. So, but if I get 1,000 gift subs for League of Legends, I mean, I just said it on stream, right? Is that binding now? That's binding, right? So, if I'll have to play it if I get 1,000 gift subs. It's very unreasonable. I know, but look, I have so many other games I want to play, and a lot of the games I want to play will end in less than like 50 hours. I think that's probably like the nice sweet spot, right? I don't mind playing a short game, but then I also like playing some games that will take me, 20, 30, 40 hours. That's fine. But when you get to games that are like over like 80 hours to play, unless I'm like so deeply involved or it's like a JRPG that I love, I'm probably not going to be playing that game. So and the thing is, even though I love StarCraft, I'm not very good. I'm pretty bad, I would say. So that probably won't happen. You guys might have heard like a little buzzing. So my generator kicks on at about this time once per week. Because when I first moved into this house, my wife and I noticed that we lost power like 3 or 4 times a year for literally no reason. Like we had power through the worst snowstorms, we had power through some of the worst windstorms, and then we lose power on just a perfectly sunny day where there's nothing going on. And I'm like, why the hell did we lose power today? So in our second or third year, we got a house generator installed, and it kicks on at about this time once a week because it's like a mechanical generator. So, but it's an auto switchover. So if we lose power and it detects that we haven't had power for like a minute, it automatically kicks on. But this time, each week, it just turns itself on just for a checkup test. So, yeah. Anyway, all right. So there we go. That is a cooking stream. We talked about a bunch of stuff. I cooked a bunch of stuff, and we did a sausage tasting. That sounded so weird. Don't clip that. All right, let's go find somebody to raid. I just realized that I don't even have a Twitch window open. So let's open up a Twitch window and see who is on. Oh, that guy Kujasai, are you streaming? Is that... Let me see, who else is on that we may need to raid that we haven't raided in a bit? Actually, do we want to try and make a new friend today? Let's see, who is streaming... Whoops. Who is streaming food and drink? I kind of want to see if we can... Food and drink. Let's see. This is somebody... I kind of want somebody like at home or cooking right now. Oh, hold on. Who is this person? My last game, don't raid me, says that guy Kuosai. Okay, alright. Let's see here. Kind of want to hear what... Is he saying anything? Is he talking to stream? I can't hear him. Oh, hold on. Is the stuff coming through my mic? Hold on. I have to change my audio so I can hear what the heck is going on. Yeah, so when I plug in this mic, the audio will go through the mic, but I want it to go through my laptop so I can hear it. And I know that they do that so that you don't get feedback in the mic, but let's see, open sound settings. Speakers. Oh yeah, okay. Wait, this is going through the right thing. Why couldn't I hear anything? Oh, is my volume just not up? Oh, I'm an idiot. My volume was not up. Let me see. So there's somebody... Who else is streaming food and drink right now? this somebody doing food and drink? Oh no, this is like food video. It doesn't look like it's live? Okay. Alright. Let's go over here. Alright, so first of all, thank you guys for being here today. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for lurking. Greatly appreciate it. Guys, if you are not following our friends and mods, we saw Chan the Magic Man. If you're not following our friend Chan the Magic Man is also someone who does magic on Twitch stream, but also has done cooking streams as well, so give our friend Chan a follow. Also, if you are not following our friend and mod Gibson Lens, please give Gibson Lens a follow. Gibson Lens, pianist, composer, put out his own album 1 year ago, anniversary, and is also a video game developer and is also a movie critic, so definitely give him a follow. Guys, you're not following our friend Felden Kane and friend and mod Felden Kane, please give Felden Kane a follow. Felden Kane says, thank you for the stream, Nam. Thank you for being here, Todd. Good to see you, and hopefully I didn't make anybody too hungry. Yeah, Felden Kane plays JRPGs, other games, collaborating with other people's games. Also did a cooking stream with his mom recently, so definitely give Felden Kane a follow. So good to see you as well. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, you know, I've been hanging out a little bit in Felden Kane's stream a little bit more as well. So fun times, fun times. Lately, Felden Kane's been playing Claire Obscure Expedition 33. So doing the super hard mode, right? There's been a lot of frustrating boss battles. I can feel your frustration, Todd. I can feel it. So, alright, so today, let's go and, let me see, let me put in, so guys, if you want to come along the raid, feel free to copy a raid call. We're going to raid over to a new person. Oh, hold on, I have to, it's what the people wanted, says Felden Kane. I know, you do what the people wanted. So, I'm going to try and make a new friend today, guys. Today, we're going to be raiding over to Chef Steve 330. So, it looks like he is doing... so, it says, more than pasta food truck. And I'm like, it'd be perfect because... so, let's go over there. Wait, says that guy, Kuyasai. You can't hold back the raid train, Kuyasai. Wait, oh, I see. Thank you for the raid. I see. Welcome in that guy, Kuyasai. Thank you kindly for the raid. Guys, if you're not following our friend, that guy, Kuyasai, please give that guy, Kuyasai, a follow. And it looks like I'm also a raider from that guy, Kuyasai, because I opened up his stream while I was trying to figure out who to raid. Guys, if you're not following our friend, that guy Kuyasai has been doing a lot of different things. He plays piano, he sings, he plays video games, he hangs out just chatting, he does all the things. So definitely give that guy Kuyasai a follow. And thank you so much for the raid. If you come back during a magic stream, I'll do a magic trick for you and your community, but I would assume, I think everybody probably knows who I am from your stream, or maybe not, but hi, my name is Nam, also known as Crazy Asian, spelled this weird way on Twitch, and I like to do sleight of hand card magic on Sundays normally. If I'm doing other things, I could be playing video games, I could be cooking like I was today, and but definitely come check me out on a sleight of hand Sunday where I'm doing magic for a stream. But otherwise, Kuyasai, thank you so much for the raid. Greatly appreciate it. So that's why you wanted me to wait. I understand now. Makes perfect sense. Alright. Alright, cool. So where was I? Oh yeah, so let's go ahead and I'm going to drop the raid calls again, because I'm going to need to copy my own raid call. So if you guys want to come along the raid, we're going to go raid a new person today. And it looks like the guy is Chef Steve 330. He's going to be, he's making something in his food truck, I think. And so it looks like, so let's go try and make a new friend. And if not, we'll just, I'm just going to make some noise. There we go. But that's where we're going. Alright, let me, hold on. So don't forget, let me copy my own raid call. Alright, there we go. Alright, boom. Okay. Alright. Awesome. So, anyway, great seeing everybody. As I said, my next stream is probably going to be Hades. I don't know when, but I will, you know, it'll be announced in the Discord because StreamCord. Without StreamCord, I would be lost. So, whoever let me know about StreamCord, thank you. I kind of knew it was there because I saw other people use it, but anyway. Everybody take care of yourselves. Everybody remember to hydrate, remember to stretch, remember to get good sleep, because as we all know, it's very tough to get good sleep nowadays. And remember to take care of yourselves, and great seeing everybody. Alright. Felton K says, you're welcome. Thank you for the deck socks, everybody. So let's head over to cooking.